Hello Lefty Wannabes and welcome to my channel, Right Left Hand. It is day 363. Let's get started. We're in week 52, so we will continue writing the date, the day, the sentence, both upper and lowercase 2 times, the quote, both upper and lowercase 2 times, increasing numbers, and symbols. And the sentence is, two driven jocks help fax my big quiz. Again, we're writing that because it's a pangram containing all the letters of the alphabet, and we want to practice those letters in a variety of ways. And the quote is, even when laws have been written down, they ought not always to remain unaltered, by Aristotle. Let's go ahead and get started. As per usual, we're going to write the day over in the left-hand margin. Day 363. December 29th. Woo! 2017. 2 days away from the new year. And it is Friday. Okay, and we'll go ahead and get started with our first sentence, which is, two driven jocks help fax my big quiz. And like normal, I don't want to mess it up, so I'm going to try and write it slowly. Make sure that I read the quote a little more slowly as well, so that I can get it all down. So two driven jocks help fax my big quiz. My big quiz. Alright, now we'll go ahead and move on to writing it in all caps. And hopefully you guys have not grown tired of this sentence. Feels like I've been writing it for 10 days now. But we did write it, I think, last month. So that's why I'm hoping you're not tired of it already. Is we have written this sentence before. And it seems to me to be dragging just a little bit because, like, come on, where's the new year? Why am I still only on day 363 instead of being on day 367 or 70, day 370, something like that. But that's fine. And we'll go ahead and repeat the process. Writing it in lowercase and then uppercase. Yep. But, it's okay because we're almost done. So we'll just get through this, even if it feels painful or is actually painful. We'll get through it. I believe that we can. So yeah. Especially with only 2 days left. Come on, that's nothing compared to the past 360 something days we've done beforehand. So yeah. There's just that small tidbit as well. A small piece of information to take into account. And now we'll move on to the quote, which is, even when laws have been written down, they ought not always to remain unaltered, by Aristotle. And I'm going to make sure that I write this down correctly so that I don't mess up. Even when laws have been written down, been written down, they ought not to remain, they ought not always to remain unaltered. Sorry if this part has been boring for you, but like I said, I wanted to get this all completely correct, and that was pretty important to me. All right, Almost done, and then I'll talk a little bit about it. This is Aristotle. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and write this in all caps and lowercase and uppercase again. So, I thought this could be a good quote for us because it's kind of true for this channel. While my lesson plans aren't particularly law, it's kind of like the same thing. We follow it, we use it as a guide, and it's been written down, but, I changed it every 4 months or 3 months, I think. Every 3 months or so. And that was because I had to change the content to kind of keep up with the route we were taking. And so it kind of follows the same idea that, even though the law has been written down, it shouldn't just stay that way forever. It should be changed because conditions change as well. So, just like writing the alphabet once wasn't good enough, we had to write it 2 times and then, 4 times, uppercase, lowercase, stuff like that. Writing the sentence once, writing the quote once. So, just small changes like that we've incorporated into our lesson plans to make it better, to improve it, give it a little something else so that it's not stagnant and dry or boring. So that's one thing to keep into account. Even like family rules too. When you're younger, you're not allowed to eat 5 sweets or 5 candies or chocolates. But as you get older, those laws kind of pass away. And hopefully, you've learned that it's not necessarily good to eat all those candies or chocolates. Or if you do, you better brush your teeth extra well. But they change, So I think that's the important part here. Companies, they'll change with the time because conditions change. You write it to prevent something, but then when there's a loophole or something has been exploited, then you've got to change it so that the same occurrence doesn't happen again, so that you're not liable. That's usually why companies do it. But then also schools, I think, high schools now, a lot of high schools now allow for facial hair among kids, and that's not always been the case. So it just depends. I guess I'm talking about like below college schools. So college, I guess, really doesn't matter what your clothes and hair look like. But high schools have dress codes, middle schools. So yeah. It's because sometimes they're antiquated. You need to update them, get with the times, man, stuff like that. I'm sure many of you have heard of those kind of sayings. Get with the times. What are you doing? Okay. And almost done with this quote. I just want to make sure that I was writing it correctly because I had to switch avenues or lanes or whatever. Not always to remain unaltered. Yeah, and this video is a little bit longer because this quote was pretty long. I actually didn't think it was this long, but hey, it gives us more practice, especially as we approach the end of the year. We'll go ahead and move on to numbers. We left off on 2,840 last time, so we'll go 2,841 up to 2,860. And try and do this not necessarily quickly, but I'll try not to drag, so that we see what's going on. I can put the brakes on so that when there are different ways in which I can go over, or kind of like maybe make it a little bit too big, especially because I started writing 2000, like started writing the 2 way too close right there. So that's something that you kind of gotta watch out for, especially when you're writing, because it doesn't always like work out well. So you want to make sure that it's all good and happening in a kind of way that makes it look nicer and stuff like that. So now we'll go ahead and move on to the second decade. And probably heard the phone ringing. That's why I was speaking a little bit louder, so that you can hopefully hear me over the phone. But yeah, sometimes that stuff happens. Like a lot of my past videos, I have the laundry machine on and you can hear it. So, but recently it's been pretty quiet, so yeah, at least I hope it has. I don't know. All right, we're done with the numbers, so now we'll go ahead and move on to the symbols, and then we'll call it a day. And here we are, almost done. Just got a little bit more left to do. And get that. And right here, finish up these mathematical symbols. Punctuation. And there you have it, day 363. Thanks for watching. Come back tomorrow and every day to practice with me. Alrighty, goodbye.